All right, today what we're going to do is it's a video that's going to cover our heavy-duty bearing install, also the use of our tools. I've been needing to upgrade videos for our primary tool package, which is a holder, spider tool, spider nut tool. Our older video just didn't have our new tools on it, so I guess I'll introduce them as well. Also, I want to tell you that this video, for the purpose of video, I would never in a million years use a vise this small. I purposely ordered it, bought it to make this video, and everything has been pre-loosened and everything just to make it faster and all that for the sake of the video, because you don't want to watch an hour-long video on this. The heavy-duty bearings are only going to be for 570s, 800s, and 900s. They do not fit 1000s, and when I get this 1000 clutch apart, I'll show you. Here's a piece of a 900. I'll switch camera views. All right, so you can see this wide area here for a bearing and all, and we will look at the 1000 when I get to it. All right, so like I said, everything's kind of been set up to speed things along, so let me shut up and move along and get to it. And as the tools you'll need to do the job, I'll mention them as I go. First thing you do is take your holder and put it in the vise, and it has this little T, and that's to keep it from turning on you. Let me loosen this way when you're putting a lot of torque on it. Okay, now the purpose of a taper tool, we need to cover that versus an old style that, and I have one here, one somewhere, but holds on to the fins. And we'll switch camera angles real quick. Is this center section is made onto these fins. So when you hold onto these fins and you're up here trying to turn this clutch that's probably stuck on, it can turn this. So anytime you're using a fin one or a dealer's going to, put you a black marker on here to see if they turn it, because this isn't a balanced assembly, and you'll see balance marks here, and technically it takes it out of balance. So thus we use a taper tool to mimic a crankshaft. All right, so anyway, so put your clutch on it, take a bolt, screw it down in there. You should torque this really. That is a 15/16. All right, then you're going to take your cover screws out. I've only got 3 in mine because, like I said, I sped it up. It's under spring pressure. Look at there, it dropped down. Sometimes they stick and you can pry them. All right, set your spring to the side. There's a blue washer, the one we talk about in one of our other videos. When you go back together, put 2 of them in here, watch that video, and depending on what I decide to do, because today's date I hadn't made my mind, I think we're going to make our own because these are a little fragile. All right, so once you get this point, you're going to want to have to take the spider nut loose. Of course, mine's already loose, but yours won't be, as a general rule, and you need to heat it up with a torch. So like so, for 30 seconds, whatever it takes to break the Loctite. Now some of the 800s and 570s and some early Ranger 900s don't even have a spider nut, so you can kind of skip this part, and you won't need our tool. Now here's our heavy duty spider nut tool. You're just not going to see anything any better, any made. You can look inside the way the teeth are. The style that the fingers or teeth, whatever you want to call it, stick up, they can actually break off in this process, and that's this whole design. And this has been zinc plated to keep it from rusted. All right, now every now and then you'll get somebody go, I cannot get the tool on. Trust me, some nuts are made different. Tools, I guess, a little tolerance, but it will go, and you just got to find a spot. And I've actually sat here one day doing this, and finally it goes down on there. I use a 3/4 inch pull handle and usually a cheater pipe. And when I'm doing it, because there's so much torque, is I'm pulling my body against the table and pulling back. Of course, I'm using this angle out here and pulling back. Okay, so let's just pretend mine's broke because it actually is. All right, go ahead and take your spider nut off. And I won't lie, one of the reasons you don't get to watch this, me literally taking it apart, this thing took about an hour. It was tough at this point. All right, now we're doing the spider. Once again, you're going to heat it down in here. And you're going to be heating this thing up because once again, you got to break Loctite. All right, now we got the most massive spider nut tool on the planet. It's also the best. And it also doubles as a doorstop. So, if you look, switching cameras, you'll see this. This goes down over the center, and this takes that. All right, once again, you're going to use your pull handle and loosen it. You see the spider and the movable sheave moving at the same time. All right. Again, mine's pretty loose. Once you get it broke, now this thing's gonna be pretty hot. I usually stick my hand up underneath it, like so, and then just turn it. Now, if yours is not loose as this one, you may have to keep your tool and keep going because a lot of times they're still tight. Now, the purpose of taking one apart would be if you wanted to replace, which we're against replacing rollers and buttons, but if that's what you're doing, that's what these tools would be for. You need to replace a bearing, or you just wanted to give it a really good cleaning. All right. I will say that it'd be a good idea for you to mark all your parts so that you can get it all back on in the same position. However, there are X's on this clutch, and we'll talk about them as we move up. And set this to the side, and you'll see from the overhead view, when you take this spider off on this particular 1000, there's a pair of washers that sit here that go on the bottom of the spider. All right, some clutches have them, some don't, but you pay attention, this stuff comes apart. All right, we'll set that to the side. All right, now at this point, like I said, this is a 1000. You have a thick spacer. You're going to have a washer and a washer. Now, I'm hoping this camera angle can see this, but this short area here to here is much shorter than this. So you can see here that bearing will not fit. And then when you add the other spacer, so that's why we can't do 1000s. All right, so if you was putting a new bearing in, or maybe yours is dry, I use a little white lithium grease, not a whole lot, put some on my finger and run back through there. All right, now then at this point, I'm going to show you how you would put the bearing and all on the ones that you would be doing the heavy duty in. All right, I'm going to go up to this view, and I want you to see if you could see those needles in this end, not this end. Whether you're buying the one-way configuration or the two-way, the needles must go down. All right, so what you would do on this model is you would put your washer, needles go down. We're usually going to put you a little extra grease in there, and then you're going to put your other washer. And this spacer has a bevel right here on this side. This one's obviously not got a bevel. And there's a bevel on this shaft, so bevels meet bevel. Bevels go down. All right, so now the rest of this for the 1000 is identical to that one. All right, so washer on 1000, the bearings on a two-way from Polaris, these narrow ones have no side. If you have a one-way, then you do not want it to turn counterclockwise. That would be lock if this was a one-way, like a General or one of the newer vehicles. Then the other little shim washer and your spacer, and it really can't hardly go but one way. I take that back. I did have a guy put one upside down. So it'll have a cup side and a smooth side. You put cup side down. Now, let's say that you've done cleaned this, and I'm actually going to clean this one after this video. So I'm going to slide this back down on here. Then I'm going to take these two washers that were in this clutch, put them back, and I'm going to find an X. I don't know if we can see it in the camera, but there's an X in a casting. There is a X here in this casting. It's usually marked with blue mark, and then you're going to slide it down. But before you do, obviously yours will be clean, and then you're going to want to use a good bit of 620 Loctite on these threads. You can put it here, and then you put your spider on, and then you slide this up. There you go, with your hand underneath it, XX with all of your Loctite on there. And then you start spinning it back down. And you'll feel the pressure on your hand as it's starting to squeeze on your hand. All right, bottomed out. Then you're going to take your spider tool at this point. Torque wrench. You need to have a 3/4 drive, all right, and then you're going to torque it. All right, and then it's going to take a pretty good bit. You torque it till your torque wrench says 300. The spec is 280 to 300. All right, take that off. And you're going to take your spider nut tool, and any of the Loctite that you put on here usually gets wiped down. So apply some more Loctite on those threads liberally. Then put your lock nut on there, lock nut tool, and then your torque is going to be 250 pounds. Okay, that's torque. And then continue the assembly. Put hopefully 2 blue washers or our new one if we've got it out yet on here. Put your spring back on, get your cover. It has an X, usually a blue mark from the factory. Here's my spider. And set it on there. I got 3 screws in it, and you can squeeze it together, get them started. Put all 6 of them in, use a star pattern. Don't ask me what the torque is, because I never torqued them. I always use this, never had a problem. If you want to use blue Loctite on it, that's fine. I think it's around 7 pounds. Don't hold me to that. More people that broke those screws off, torquing it, not reading torque specs. I've never, ever, ever broke one off with this. Trigger control. All right, so now our clutch is reassembled with whatever, like I said, whatever purpose you was using this for. And you take your bolt out. Then you put your, hopefully your Hunterworks puller in. All right, now we got a puller in, 3/4 inch socket. You pop it off your tool just like you do the crankshaft. And there is one fully assembled primary clutch. And you got to catch me on the weekend with my reading glasses on. All right, guys, I hope this helps out with our new tools. Because our old video just had old tools, process, want to get updated and come in here and do it where it's a little nicer. And as usual, if you got any questions about anything, give us a call here at Hunterworks. We ask you to subscribe. There's usually going to be a little subscription, a little red button here, an eye up in the corner. It gets a link to us. I usually put a link to our website down in the description down below. Got any questions? Give me a call here at Hunterworks. Thanks.